Congress President Philani Mavundla has accused the KwaZulu-Natal ANC of not respecting traditional leadership. It's over a mic-grabbing incident involving the ANC's Siboniso Duma and the AmaZulu traditional Prime Minister Thulasizwe Buthelezi last month. News 24 is reporting that the ABC is planning to dump the ANC as a coalition partner in eThekwini and the Umvoti local municipality. Mavundla says a motion of no confidence has been submitted to dissolve the eThekwini Council Executive.
There is a motion that has been submitted in eThekwini Metro, and the APC has supported this motion. This motion, it is to bring a vote of no confidence to the entire EXCO, Executive Committee of eThekwini, as well as bringing the motion to the whip of eThekwini Council. That motion was submitted last week. It is due to be tabled in what is called Speakers Forum. It was due to be tabled today. I haven't heard what has happened. But that motion on the 25th of April will bring about the dissolvement of the EXCO of eThekwini.
Let's get to action now. We're joined by the ANC's secretary in the province, Bheki Mtolo, who is joining us via Zoom. Good to have you, Nongwadla, and thank you very much for coming on. Would I be correct if I say that the relationship between the ANC and the ABC, especially in those two local municipalities, is at breaking point or has completely broken?
No, good evening and good evening to viewers. I think, firstly, that let's start with eThekwini. eThekwini, the APC only have two councillors of more than 200 councillors. It is not a major factor in eThekwini, to be honest. Where it is a major factor is in Umvoti, where I think all parties in Umvoti, they've all agreed that Mavundla must go because he seems to be not focusing on the job and he tried to create more problems wherever he goes. For example, our councillors in Umvoti and the councillors of the IFP, they have agreed that he must be removed without even agreeing who's going to take over. But in one thing that they agreed that the man must go, which we don't have a problem with that. But in eThekwini, I think you all know, in eThekwini, they just turned the municipality of eThekwini to play political football, because I think Ukanda will enter into Guinness Book of Record of the most politician in the world that has ever faced most vote of no confidence, because they know. I think they've tried this year alone. I think. They've tried about 3 votes of no confidence. They know the outcome. The outcome will be the same. It's that they will be defeated. But they just decided to make eThekwini municipality to play political football. It's their own decision. You can't stop that. They are abusing the weaknesses in law. That the law just allows that on Monday you can put a vote of no confidence. It is put on an order paper. It is debated on Thursday. It's voted to get defeated. Then nothing stops you that on Friday, on the following day, you can put a vote. The law is so vague. Then they are just abusing that weakness in law, which we can't do anything about that.
Yeah. So let's narrow it down to eThekwini and then some of the personal issues that are going on there. We'll come to Umvoti in a moment. I mean, we know that the relationship between the president of ABC and the mayor of eThekwini has been toasty for a while in terms of messages and SMSs, WhatsApp messages that they've been exchanging with one another one ignoring another one, and so on and so forth. It ended up with that relationship, the mayor firing the deputy mayor, taking the matter to court. He lost that case and he left. And he says, look, he was okay with the fact that he would have left because there are issues between him and the mayor, but his party opted to continue to support the ANC in eThekwini. Now, here's the crux of the matter. He says there's then now a beef that would have happened between yourself and him on the Indonzi WhatsApp group over a question of an independent Zulu State. where you would have exchanged unsavories with one another on that particular platform. And that could have been the straw that broke the camel's back. What's your version of that story?
Yeah, that's all psychopaths work like that. You must know, all psychopaths work like that. They always find a scapegoat to justify their actions. It's norm in politics that those whose moral threshold is very low, when they do what is not right, for them to justify why they are doing what is not right, they have to find or engage in a politics of scapegoating. It's part of our body politics in South Africa. I think he has been part of that because, for example, let me tell you about eThekwini. eThekwini, what happened is that he was a convening of bloc. There's something called bloc, smaller parties, one party that has got one seat, one independent and all that. There are a group of around 12 of them. Then he was there. Then they appointed him to be a convener of those councillors. But what has happened, why he lost the position of a deputy mayor, he was just using count as a scapegoat. Then the bloc itself lost confidence in him. Then the bloc then removed him first as its convener in eThekwini. Then they approached the African National Congress that this man can't represent us as a deputy mayor. Can you remove this man because we want to bring someone we trust, who's sober, who's sharp. And then they proposed the current deputy mayor. The current deputy mayor was proposed by the bloc. What happened that the bloc of those councillors removed Mavundla as their convener. They then appointed Councillor Mini to be their convener. They then demanded to the ANC to remove this man. Then he was using whatever they engaged with counter as a scapegoat to justify why he's removed, to play victimhood. But the truth is that is the bloc that he used to ascend to the position of a deputy mayor that lost confidence in him because of his behavior, because of his conduct. Then they removed him. They put somebody else. That's why that somebody else who is the current deputy mayor. That's what he said. Then he went to Umvoti. When he arrived in Umvoti, he fought with the mayor of the mayor of the IFP. Then we worked together, of course. Then he started to fight with the current deputy mayor of the ANC. The current deputy mayor of the ANC was also a regional chair. They are not in speaking terms. Then they fought. Then he ended up fighting everybody else. The ANC, which is in coalition with, he fought with the councillors of the opposition party, which is the IFP. He fought with the mayor of Mzinyati. Then he fought with everybody. That's why now in Umvoti, everybody agrees. Even they don't agree in broader terms on how they should take Umvoti forward. But they've identified one common enemy, which is Mavundla. Then they want him go.
So you are saying, was there an expressed view from the ABC that they will continue to support you in eThekwini?
No. Remember, ABC works like a political prostitute, if I can put it that way, in that hard terms. They work like that. In some instances, councillors of the APC will support us. Councillors of the APC will not support us. Then it depends on which bed they've slept with, whatever short-term selfish interests that they are pursuing at that point in time. They have not always supported us in all the motions that in major decision making. It depends. They have never been our reliable ally, if I can put it that way. We knew that these are people who are working like water patterns. Then today the sun will be shiny. The following morning the sun will wake up, the sun is shiny, but towards the midday, then the weather changes and storms comes and then we get floods. We're used to that relationship. But as I'm saying, it was not a worry to us because they are not affected. They are too. The councillors of the APC, they are too. They don't carry any significant impact in the council of eThekwini.
And now your own disagreement around an independent Zulu state, you're saying it's neither here or there. It's a non-factor at this particular point.
I don't really want to argue to bring that thing here to this platform, really, to give it credence. And then imagine in 2024, somebody like me debating something called sovereign Zulu state. What is that then? I don't think people who at least respect me can they will lose everything that every respect they've ever given me in their lives when they hear that I come to this big platform, Newzroom Afrika, discuss something that doesn't make any sense even to a toddler.
Yeah. It seems to have rubbed him off the wrong way in a sense that, one, he says it connects with the broader view of the ANC in the province disrespecting traditional leadership and traditional views, linking that up with the incident of the mic grabbing and so on and so forth. So saying generally your posture and your attitude towards things of tradition and things that promote the Zulu nation has been one of apathy, and you show a sense of lack of understanding of what it means to be Zulu. I mean, he even says, you said something like, well, if that's what you're going to do, then I'm also going to form my own country, the Mzumkulu, Yamapata, and be president there, if that's what you say we must do.
That argument that is putting forward shows how he disrespects the Zulu nation and traditional leadership. Let me give you an example. Or factual facts. The Zulu kingdom has got connection with various kingdoms beyond the Zulu nation. You would know that the current reigning king his mother comes from Eswatini. It's a daughter of Sopuza. You'd know that that means his father went beyond the Zulu nation to look for a wife who will give her to the throne. But in Nzukulu, you know that in the Eastern Cape, they got two relationships where the princesses are married to the Xhosa king and then to the Pondoland king. Then for him to say in defense of the traditional leadership, especially the Zulu king, he wants to create a Zulu sovereign state, is against what the Zulu kingdom and the traditional leadership has created interconnection of various kingdoms and various tribes in South Africa. Is not based on facts. It's based on his selfish interest, because he's got this belief that all Zulus are fools like him. Then when he says Zulus, even if he says something that is nonsensical, then let me ask you an example. Why would somebody who is a Zulu, who is doing business in the Western Cape, who is doing business in Limpopo, who is running a mine in Limpopo, is running a mine in Northwest, who is doing business in Johannesburg, will want to be dislocated from the whole area of South Africa, so that when he goes to Northwest, when he goes to Limpopo, he must look for a passport, he must pass to a border gate? Why would a Zulu who's doing businesses everywhere would want to be subjected to that? Why would a Zulu who's an athlete, who's an athlete, who's a soccer player, who's a rugby player, who's a cricket player, will want to be isolated? Because now, once there is a Zulu sovereign state, every player of any sport coach in KZN now will be a foreign country. Johannesburg will be a foreign country, Western Cape will be a foreign country, Limpopo, Mpumalanga will be a foreign country. Why people who have strived so much, because democracy has brought so much for them, will want to go back to be located in one area and they become foreigners in their own country? It's upset. It's unbelievable. But because they think everybody's Zulu, when you bring Zuluness, then they don't look at the broader issues. They just become blind. Unfortunately, they've proven over the time that Zulus are not as stupid as many of people think they are. Because they know this is nonsensical. You can't have a Zulu sovereign state in one country.
I'm going to ask one final question and we're going to leave it, because it's not really the core what I want to talk to you about. I want to talk about Mvoti as well. But he says Mtolo never speaks like this about Orania, that has decided to be self-determinant or self-determinate, take self-determination. Why can't KZN do the same?
He must just say he has never heard me speaking about Orania. But if he can trace us when we were in the Youth League, for example, we had a strong view about Orania while we were in the Youth League. He was still a regional chair of the ANC that time. But I think memory has failed him. we've taken a fight on Orania. But remember, Orania was established even before 1994. Orania was established around 1991 or 1992 and all that. But Orania is not also what they think it is. For example, there are people who believe that Orania has got a currency. Orania doesn't have a currency. Orania has got a coupon backed on a rand. That's why if they got something that whatever they call that nonsense they are using there, that coupon. If it's 10 whatever against the rand, it's the same thing. They are not using. They don't have their own currency. They use. That's why in the 2009 elections, we went there as the youth league. We campaigned in Orania. For the first time in Orania, we put a poster of the ANC. And then after that poster of the ANC, for the first time in Orania, the ANC got about 2 to 3 votes in Orania. Why they vote in South Africa if they are a separate country? They are not totally independent out of South Africa. It's a myth.
Let's take a break. When we come back, let's finalize the question of Umvoti, where you're saying there should certainly be some challenges there because the ABC holds a little bit more seats. However, there's that general agreement amongst parties on the mayor going, but what will be the outcome of that, considering, of course, tensions that already exist between the IFP and the ANC? You can weigh in on the conversations tonight, 072-110-5584. Drop us an X at Newzroom 405. The Provincial Secretary of the ANC in KwaZulu-Natal staying with us, and we'll talk to him after the break. Back live with you, Provincial Secretary of the ANC in KwaZulu-Natal, Bheki Mtolo, my guest tonight, and responding to some of the remarks made by the ABC President, Philani Mavundla. Then the question becomes, with the tensions that are existing because of the issue of the mic grab, but also the subsequent comments, for example, around the recognition of the Prime Minister, who is also in the IFP. This has created some tension. So how do you see that playing out in the Umvoti local municipality, where I suppose you would need the collaboration of the IFP?
The traditional Prime Minister is a leader of the IFP. It's also a mayor of the IFP. If the issue in Umvoti is related to the issue that involves the traditional Prime Minister, who is also leader of the IFP, councillors of the ANC and councillors of the IFP, they could not have in agreement and signed, all of them, a vote of no confidence against Mavundla. That, you see, we are played by somebody here who thinks it can fool all of us. Evidence and facts are against whatever I put. There is not the ANC that has put a vote of no confidence, because the ANC could not have done that a majority. In that municipality, you got 3 parties. You got ANC, you got IFP, you got APC. None of each party can put a vote of no confidence against a mayor. There's no way, because no party controls the majority in the council. For the party to do that, it must garner a support of any other party. And then I've got a motion here signed by councillors of Umvoti. 100% caucus of the ANC, 100% caucus of the IFP. And in that caucus,
Mtolo, we seem to have lost your audio there. Please see if we can unmute if we are muted. I think we lost your audio there. In that connection. That is the Provincial Secretary of the ANC, Bheki Mtolo, there, responding to the remarks made by Philani Mavundla on their relationship with the ABC in both the eThekwini municipality as well as the Umvoti local municipality. There he was outlining to us what the situation is, or at least what the position is at this particular point as far as that motion of no confidence in the mayor. All right. All right, let's get back to that conversation. Then Provincial Secretary of the ANC, Bheki Mtolo, still with us. So you're saying you have with you a signed a motion by 100% caucus of the ANC, 100% caucus of the IFP, and you're saying in that agreement, you are getting a sense that those people are behind the motion to remove the mayor.
They are in agreement to remove him. What is left now is for the IFP and the ANC to agree on how they're going to constitute the new leadership. But the councillors are not ready to wait for that. That is, remember, Tina were big parties were run in a party system. Then while they are waiting for that agreement of how we shape ourselves, between ourselves and the IFP, but they can't wait for that because the man is a distraction. It's a distraction. They want him gone as yesterday. They want him gone then. But in the last vote of no confidence of Speaker, I met with Mavundla. Mavundla told me that he wrote me a letter, I think around February, and then he complained that I didn't respond to that letter, where he was resuscitating the old things when he was a deputy mayor. Then he was complaining. But after that, he put a firm proposal, which I brought to the ANC officials, and then that proposal was just laughable. His proposal was that he's prepared to move from Umvoti, because there are problems in Umvoti, to come back to eThekwini, and then we remove the current deputy mayor, we put him back. Then, which was going to be, and then I asked him, how are we going to do that? Because there are two councillors of the APC that are there. He said he's going to remove another councillor because apparently it's like he's in charge there in that APC. He does whatever he wants. He said, no, I'm going to remove the other one, and I come back, I come in as a councillor then. That's why now the proposal to dissolve the old ESCO, let me tell you what is the rationale behind it. The rationale to put a vote of no confidence on the entire executive committee. Remember, APC does not have a seat in the executive committee because members of political office bearers, mayor, deputy mayor, are elected from being members of the executive committee, and those who chair portfolio committee, section 80 committees that assist the executive committee. For him to achieve his ultimate objective of coming back to eThekwini to be a deputy mayor, firstly, he must be an ESCO member. Now, he can't get that. He must dissolve the whole ESCO. When he dissolves the whole ESCO, in his small mind, is that it will open a gap for him to bargain. When he bargains, he will therefore bargain either with the big parties like the IFP or the DA to then compromise one of their own as ESCO members. Then they forward him so that he must occupy the seat of any of these two big parties or the EFF if they agree. Then that is the first step. The second step is that once he's ESCO now, occupying the seat of another political party like he did with us, then he can now back in to pay deputy mayor or whatever it is. Then the issue is not about service delivery and about serving the people of eThekwini. The issue is about serving a person of Mr. Mavundla as an individual.
Is the ANC prepared to support an IFP candidate for mayor in Umvoti in lieu of an IFP support for an ANC mayor in eThekwini?
Look, what you must know in the history of the KwaZulu-Natal, KwaZulu-Natal, the ANC has got a history of working with the IFP from as early as 1994. And then we analyze things based on evidence and on circumstances at that point in time. And where I sit as the secretary of the ANC, there's no way, there's no decision of the ANC that you can trace it. Of either a conference or a provincial general council that said we can't work with the IFP. There's no such a decision, which makes it that possible that we can work with the IFP. For example, in 2021, we remember that there was an agreement that we should work with the IFP because the analysis was that from national leadership, from the National Executive Committee, that the ANC and the IFP are the biggest parties, but they are run in a very professional way. Then if you run, you got into quality with these two parties, the stability may arise. But is that at local level, there are dynamics. Then when certain councils set, then there were certain people who didn't adhere to the national framework. Then that's how our agreement with the IFP collapsed. But there's no decision of the ANC that we have decided to cut the IFP out. What has happened is that the IFP has decided to join the Moonshot Pact, which has been turned to multi-party charter. Then in that multi-party charter is that they've decided that they can work with anybody else except the ANC. But that is their own arrangement. But on the ground, the leadership of the IFP knows that in certain circumstances will force them to work with the ANC if that is in the best interest of communities at that particular point in that particular municipality.
Nogwad Siabo, thank you very much for coming on and for joining us this evening. That is the Provincial Secretary of the ANC in KwaZulu-Natal. Let's